and wanted to ask you what you're doing above and beyond just to keep yourself safe and to feel comfortable being out there with the way things are right now with COVID and just staying safe as possible.
Well, the biggest thing is following all the protocols that the NFL put down. Make sure that we do what they say, and they're doing a great job here of making sure that we stay distanced and keeping our masks on and everything like that. And the other thing is when you leave the facility, this is probably the safest place. When you leave the facility is going home. You can't go out and do a lot of things. And if you got family, like my wife's here, we talk about it, and she knows that she has to do the right things and can't go out and do everything she's supposed to do. So when I do come home, that we know we're following all the protocols that's been set up by the CDC.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay, next up is going to be James Palmer.
Just curious, the couple practices you've been around Rob Gronkowski, are there things that you see him do that you're learning, maybe even something, because he's arguably, kind of one of the greatest guys to get out there and do it? Are there little nuances to his game that you're kind of seeing that you may not have seen up close before?
I think the most amazing thing about Gronk is that as big a guy he is athletic. He's athletic, and he can do a lot of things. He's got some quick twitch movements. But everything that you've seen, being in the league and seeing him play, getting to watch him on film, getting to watch him on television, I think the most important thing, it matters to him. He loves it. He has fun. He loves to play the game. He has fun out there, but it matters to him. When he makes a mistake, it hurts him. And like Tom, he wants to win. I think that's a big component of what makes his personality.
Are you kind of learning that fun-loving side of him has overshadowed kind of the working side of him a little bit then?
No doubt about it, James. He is I know he's portrayed as one of those guys that goes out and likes to have a lot of fun and all that stuff, but when he's in the facility and when he's between the lines, he's business. He knows that he has to get the job done. He's a professional, and he's learning a new offense just like a couple other guys are, and he's put his time in, and that's what I respect about him, is that he wants to go out there and be good, be even better.
All right, next up is going to be Jenna Lane.
Coach Arians said that Gronk looks like he did 5 years ago. I just wanted to know your thoughts on that and what you've seen from him in practice.
Well, I think the biggest thing you got to watch about him is getting out there. He wants to take every rep and to make sure that we keep his body as close to being in shape as we can, but not getting him so many reps that we wear him down. I think that's the biggest thing. Comparing to 5 years ago, I know Coach saw him a lot more than I did, and I've seen him a lot on film. He's done some really good things in practice, and he's running around really well. So we just got to make sure that he does the right things and keep him kind of contained a little bit. And because he's one of those guys that, and they all are. I'm fortunate because I got a good room. They all want to take every rep, and we just got to be careful with him.
And what kinds of things have you seen from him as far as helping some of the other guys, the younger guys out in the room?
I think his how do I want to say it? He's very meticulous in his preparation. He does a lot of things. He wants to do it right and make sure that you do it right. And I think that kind of rubs off on those other guys. Again, I'm lucky because I got some older guys in the room too. And so they see that and they see how he works and how he tries to perfect his craft. And I think that's what those guys try to do.
Thanks.
Okay, next we're going to have Ed Encina.
Coach, you kind of talked about this a little bit, but what kind of what does a personality like Gronk's add to the tight ends room?
I didn't catch the last part of it, Ed. His personality in the room is unbelievable. I mean, he is he's one of those guys that he likes to laugh, he likes to have a good time, but he also he knows when it's business. And when we get to business, he does that. He's not one of those guys. You can get on him a little bit. I had to get on him a couple of times the other day. You can get on him a little bit. He doesn't take it. He doesn't wear his heart on the sleeve. He just goes out and tries to do his job as good as he can. And I think that rubs off on the rest of those guys. It's one of those things that, Bruce has always said, when you coach these guys, coach them hard and love them later. And that's kind of what it is. You got to do that. And and he doesn't take it to heart. And I think that's rubbed off on the other guys too.
Thank you.
Okay, next is going to be Luke Easterling.
Rick, you've got quite a lot of versatility in your room. You could make a strong argument that the position you coach is maybe the most challenging in the game with all the things that you ask these guys to do, especially in today's game. What's it like to have guys that can do so many different things, can be vertical weapons in the passing game, but also are really great blockers as well?
Luke, that's a good point you brought up, because especially in our offense, we ask our tight ends to do a lot of different things. They've got to be involved in every part of the game. They've got to be run blockers. They got to be pass protectors. They got to run good routes. They got to know different coverages. They got to know when they're hot and when they're not. All those things rolled into one. So not only they've got to be athletic, but they got to be pretty sharp. And we're fortunate to have those kind of guys right there. And you talk about having some fun. We're having some fun right now trying to figure out how we're going to do this with this guy and how we're going to do that with the other guy. And but it's going to be fun, because when you got those guys on the outside like we have too, and then the guy behind the center, we got some chances to do some things offensively that are going to be fun.
And you talked about how Rob is so meticulous in his preparation. Obviously, Tom Brady is known for being that as well. What's been your experience so far working with your guys and also working with him as you guys learn this offense?
Well, what's good about Tom is, he's been around so long. I mean, he's got instant credibility and respect because of the 6 rings. I mean, that's the most important thing. But he's also one of those guys where he's not trying to tell you what to do. He's trying to coach those guys sometimes. And I've learned a couple things from him already, as far as running routes, doing certain things, he likes things certain ways, and quarterbacks are like that. But we also got to adapt to that quarterback and do those things that he can do well.
Okay, next is going to be John Ledyard.
Coach, I'm curious. OJ Howard talked to us the other day, and he said one of the biggest things that he was looking forward to working on this offseason was his footwork, especially in the run game. He said it had to improve from where it was a year ago. That your observation as well, and what are you guys kind of working on in order to get that part of his game improved this year?
It is. We talked about when we had our virtual Zoom meetings, the coaching part, we talked about that a lot. And we just got to keep working on it. We work on a lot with the tackles, with our footwork, and doing the things we're supposed to do. And he'll the first couple of days he'll do well, and then he'll fall back in that little lapse where his footwork gets a little sloppy. So we continually talk about it, watch it on film, because he's a strong guy. If he does his footwork and his technique right, he's going to be very adequate and very good at the point of attack.
I'm also curious with him as a route runner, coming out of Alabama, he wasn't used as a receiver a ton compared to how much he was used as a blocker. How is that, the routes and the route running part of his game, how has that developed during his time in the NFL, and where's that at now compared to where it was early in his career?
I think compared to last year, right now, he is probably a lot better than what he was. He's starting to learn to run routes, how to get out of routes. And I think being around Tom's helped him too, because Tom's giving him some pointers and helped him doing some things. I've been in the business so long, I don't have all the answers, and I know there's other guys that know how to do things better. And that's only to help him. And I think once he keeps doing those things and he sees those things, it's going to help him even become a better player than what he is right now.
Okay, we got time for one more. We're going to go with Greg Allman.
Rick, you know this, but Bruce has never really been a big fullback guy in his offenses. Tom Brady has certainly known a lot of fullback as part of his running schemes there in New England. If you were to use a fullback and integrate a fullback into the offense here, which of your tight ends is best equipped for that?
Oh, that's a great question, Greg. I mean, we got 2 or 3 guys that can do it, but these guys they're not built like fullbacks. They're not your normal fullbacks are probably anywhere from 5'11" to 6'1", probably about 235, 240, and built a little bit lower to the ground for
right.
So we got to be very careful on how we use them in that particular game. But we got a couple guys that can do that. Cam's done it before. Anthony Auclair has done it before. OJ has done it some. He did some for us last year. We certainly don't want to put them in that situation where they are thinking they're fullbacks. So we got to be very careful in how we do that and how we do that with our running game.
Thanks very much.
Yes, Greg.
All right, that's all for today, Coach. Appreciate you taking the time.
Guys. Appreciate
Take
it.
care, Rick.